Good evening. When we began these Academy Award Night specials 12 years ago, the three people you're about to see were struggling unknowns. What happened to them over the past few years is nothing short of remarkable. And the same can be said of this place. This is the recently restored El Capitan Theater on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. The Walt Disney Company put up much of the money for the restoration, and earlier this year you could have seen their hit, Aladdin. But if you came here in 1941, you would have witnessed history with the premiere of Orson Welles' masterpiece, Citizen Kane. Tonight we bring you three people who are just entering the entertainment history books after coming off the ride of their lives. An enormous star, the #1 singer in America. No, not Michael Jackson. Actually, he sold more records in the United States last year than Michael Jackson and Madonna. His name is Garth Brooks, and you'll shortly see why he is #1. Denzel Washington, nominated tonight for Best Actor for his portrayal of Malcolm X. Totally honest. Does he think he should win? Well, he thinks it should be between him and possibly one other guy. And Sharon Stone, the biggest new star after her sizzling performance in Basic Instinct, and probably at this point the sexiest woman on film, and maybe off. Outspoken, outrageous, and I thought outstanding. All three of these stars are experiencing new power, the power of performance, influence, and sex. Garth Brooks, Denzel Washington, Sharon Stone, center stage.
The Barbara Walters Special, brought to you by the...
If you hear the song once, you're hooked. Friends in Low Places is downright uplifting. When Garth Brooks performs it on stage, it's like the rafters are giving way and the audience has two options: run for your lives or enjoy the show. The choice is obvious. Six years ago, he was selling cowboy boots in Nashville. Today, he is the top-selling recording artist in the country, and Garth Brooks is just getting started.
Deep within my heart lies a melody.
That's Garth's mom back in 1955. Pauline was a local country singer while his father, Troy, held down a job in the oil patch in Yukon, Oklahoma. Garth, the youngest of 6 kids, was a jock and a straight arrow. After graduating from Oklahoma State University with a degree in advertising, he grabbed his guitar and headed for Nashville.
Sometimes late at night, I lie awake and watch her sleeping.
4 quick years later, he released the fastest debuting album in country music, and his single, If Tomorrow Never Comes, went to the top of the charts. 5 albums later, he is #1 by a country mile. But why? The music wasn't dramatically different, just dramatic.
Our lives are better left to chance.
But the music is only half the story. On stage, he's, well, shameless. Not content to simply stand and strum, Garth delivers the sort of intensity usually reserved for heavy metal concerts. He is still surrounded by people he's known since childhood, including his brother, who handles his business, and his sister, who plays bass in his band, Stillwater. His albums now debut at the top of both the country and pop charts. And Garth has taken home every configuration of steel and glass award currently handed out by the music industry.
And the entertainer of the year is Garth Brooks.
So things are perfect. Well, not quite. He has talked openly of the near collapse of his marriage due to his infidelity on the road. As a result, he has spoken of retiring and worries constantly about the toll of his work on his wife, Sandy, and new baby girl, Taylor. He has seen emotional days, many of them played out on the public stage.
Being out on the road and making decisions like that. You've been a damn good friend to me, Sandy. Thanks for standing beside me.
The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes.
And certainly by Nashville standards, his music is dangerous. The video for his song, The Thunder Rolls, was banned from the 2 country cable channels because of its violent nature. And his recent tune, We Shall Be Free, makes an open plea for tolerance towards homosexuals.
We're free to love anyone we choose when this world's big enough for all different views.
Is this where you walked the first day you came here to Nashville?
Yeah, way down there.
It has all come to him so quickly. Today, at age 31, he walks down Music Row in Nashville, surrounded by record companies that rejected him only a few years ago. His business has run out of this pink Victorian, and Garth will gladly tell you that the driving force behind his dream is his wife, Sandy. He met her when he was working as a bouncer in a bar back in Oklahoma. He had to throw out a lot of spirited people. One of them became his wife.
To me, I'm still the little girl back in Owasso, Oklahoma, that was very simple.
And fell in love with a guy with a beard who could sing a little.
I fell in love with a guy that actually had nothing. I mean, the man's truck didn't even run when I met him.
How's that look?
It was good.
Is this me?
Thank you.
As they say, is this me? Garth has just closed a record deal that places him in a league with Michael Jackson. But unlike Mr. Jackson, he must remain accessible, whether it's providing fans with a high-quality, low-cost T-shirt or playing for scale at the Grand Ole Opry. At his suggestion, we talked at Nashville's famous Bluebird Cafe, the tiny club where he was first discovered when he filled in for another act that didn't show. You have been such a huge success in a relatively short time. And you say yourself that you don't play the guitar that well, that you're kind of bow-legged, that you got a few too many chins. If you take the hat off, it isn't the greatest head of hair. If you looked at yourself objectively, okay?
If I looked at myself objectively? No. I mean, if you want, it'll take 5 minutes. I'll take you down Music Row, and we'll see 10 people more talented, better looking, that sing better, that are a lot better built. And it's, I mean, you can go down the checklist.
Yeah.
With me, I gotta pull every trick I know out of the hat because I want these people to crawl out of this place. I want them to be exhausted, and I want them to feel what I'm feeling.
What are you feeling?
Oh, I haven't found a better word for it, so please excuse me for what I'm about to say. It's sex. It's just 1,000 miles an hour. It's the wildest thing, and then in the flip of a heart, it goes to this nice, tender, soft thing, and you find everybody leaning in, and all of a sudden it's just bam, bam, bam. I wish there was some way you could step inside and see what it is you see. There are times, actually, when I swear to God to you that you could just fly. It's so cool. It's all the things that you've always wanted to cut loose and let loose and just fly that you never thought you could do, but it actually happens.
I can see why you describe it as sex.
Oh, it is wonderful. It's very addictive, too.
Yet, a year ago, you were talking about retiring.
Right.
That's what was, that's what we read.
Yeah, I just had a year which I was very confused about a lot of things. And I was going at things about 50 miles an hour. I couldn't get out of the straps. And now, with everything going as flawless as it is with my daughter and my wife and I gotta tell you, I feel 10 times stronger than I've ever felt.
But why did you think of stepping out of the ring?
Because something more important than music came up. And that was a child.
And you were afraid you couldn't do the music and have the child? Why not?
Because I've never been any good at doing anything more than just music.
But did you feel you had to stay home with the child all the time?
Sure. I mean...
In other words, if you were going to have a child, you didn't want to sing anymore?
Well, if I have a child, which I do, then I am a father. Nothing is equal or above that.
So you were going to stop working because you were going to have the baby? Because your wife was going to have the baby?
All I know is what my father was to me. And my father was opportunity to me. My father was always there. My mom was always there. Parents were always there. And that's what I must be for my child.
You're going to go on a tour,
Right.
and you're going to take Sandy and the baby.
August through December. If Taylor doesn't seem to handle it fine, then probably my hardest day of my life is awaiting me.
When you'd have to say, no touring, I'm just going to stay home.
Yeah.
Garth, when you had the problems with Sandy early in your marriage, and you've talked about this, when you were unfaithful, when there were lots of women and stuff, what did you learn from all of that?
Stay clean, stay straight, and know when in an hour and a half, that's when you take the rule book.
Yeah, when you're on that stage,
That's it.
anything goes when you're on that stage.
Anything goes.
And off the stage, it's real life.
Right. And if you cross the bounds when you're on stage, you apologize to those you hurt.
It's interesting.
I've been very fortunate in the last 2 or 2.5, which has been the last 2 years, not to come off and apologize to my wife for something that I did.
What was the lowest point for you?
I guess you'd probably go back to when playing Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is when Sandy found out about everything we'd been doing. And I went out there and...
Found out that there had been other
Right.
women.
And it was the last show of the week. And we went out there. And I got through the first 3 songs fine. And then If Tomorrow Never comes up. And I remember going, sometimes late at night, I lie awake and watch her sleeping. And it just, there wasn't anything else. There was nothing left. I was inside out. The band kept playing. They didn't know what to do, and I asked them to stop, and they didn't. And I asked them to stop again, and they did. This place was silent. What you're hearing now is more noise than what I heard. And I remember walking out, and the applause was there, a different kind of applause, almost like a support applause. And over all of this, I heard one woman. I don't know where she is, don't know who she is, what she looks like. And all she said was, go home to her, Garth. That's all I heard.
Your song, We Shall Be Free, speaks of freedom to love anyone you choose.
Right.
Not just color, but some have interpreted it to mean that gays can love each other and shall be free and not criticized. Did you think of that? Was that part of that song?
I thought of it, yes, I did, simply because it's a known fact from the tabloids and everything that my sister is homosexual. I love my sister to death, and I'm sorry, I just can't condemn somebody for being happy and loving someone else. I'm sorry. You can call me bad, you can, I've been called everything from Judas to Brutus because of this song. And I just gotta say, man, I'm sorry if you think loving somebody is crime.
You're unusual in a world in which many, certainly on their way up, many performers play it very safe. What's going to be the most commercial song? You know, what's going to be the one that's going to make everybody love me?
Why do they play it safe? Why do you think?
What do you think?
I would think a lot of it would be so they could keep doing what they do. I have more money than my grandchildren's grandchildren can spend. I have a wonderful home. I have my family. I've got my daughter. I've got my wife. What are you going to take away from me?
So are you at a crossroads at this point?
I have went past the crossroads, and my evaluation is still the same. Nothing equals, nothing is higher than a father, a parent, to a child.
So?
So now the child goes with Dad, and Mom goes with Dad out on the road. And if it works, there is no bounds. There is nothing that can't be done.
Tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of. If tomorrow never comes.